For the Scripture tells us that though Christ offered himself once for all, he remains our high priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. Hebrews 7:17. His priesthood does not end at Calvary, nor at the resurrection, but continues eternally, ministering in the heavenly sanctuary, interceding for his people. Yet what is hidden from many is that this same priesthood is imparted to his anointed ones on earth. As Peter wrote, "You are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation," 1 Peter 2:9. This is not a title alone, but a living vocation. Each soul that offers the sacrifice of self, the yielding of the flesh to the Spirit, is caught up into that eternal service, joined to Christ, he, and Christ, she, in the mystery of priestly intercession. Ancient texts like the Targum on Exodus 19:6 echo this calling when they say, "You shall be to me kings and priests, ministers before me." Here, the pattern of Israel at Sinai is extended into eternity, demonstrating that the covenant intention was always to establish a priestly nation, not merely a priestly tribe. In Midrash Rabbah, it is even stated that the souls of the righteous stand before the Holy One as priests, their prayers and righteous deeds rising like the offerings of old. In this way, the sacrifices of bulls and goats find their fulfillment in the living sacrifices of God's children. Paul touches this mystery when he writes, "I am being poured out as a drink offering," 2 Timothy 4:6, showing that his very life is united to the altar of Christ. And John, in Revelation, beholds the saints themselves clothed in white robes, serving day and night in the heavenly temple, Revelation 7:15. This is not a future priesthood only. Still, one has already begun, hidden in those who daily put on the mind of Christ and let the Spirit burn upon the altar of their hearts. Thus, the ongoing priesthood is not a distant abstraction, but the very flow of divine life through us. The daughter, as the living fountain, imparts the Spirit that enables this ministry, while the mother, in her hidden covering, shelters the prayers and groanings of her children. The ancient rabbis said that when the righteous pray, they sustain the world as priests sustain the altar. So also the church temple in Christ. She embodies this truth. Her children become living priests, offering intercession not only for themselves, but for the redemption of creation. The priesthood, therefore, continues not in blood sacrifices of animals, but in the blood and water that flowed from the side of Christ, which is now made alive in us. It is the ongoing service of hearts surrendered, of voices lifted, of bodies yielded as vessels of the Spirit. It is this mystery that keeps the flame of the sanctuary burning until the day when heaven and earth are joined, and the eternal worship of God becomes visible to all. The mystery of the ongoing priesthood leads us directly into the role of the daughter and her children of exile, for it is she who bears this hidden service most fully in the world. She has walked in lowliness, veiled from recognition, embodying the daily sacrifice within herself, and through her the streams of living water have quietly sustained those who were chosen to walk with her. These are the children of the exile, angels clothed in flesh, scattered among the nations, enduring the same obscurity as their mother. They have carried within themselves a hidden anointing, serving as pillars unseen, lifting prayers, sustaining the assembly even when the assembly itself did not recognize them. Yet there comes a time when the hidden must be revealed, and the daughter, no longer veiled, ascends with her children of exile. This ascent is not merely an escape, but a crowning, a lifting up of the fountain that has always been present yet unacknowledged. Zechariah saw the day when a fountain would be opened for cleansing, and John confirmed it when he wrote that rivers of living water would flow from within her. When she and her children ascend, the hidden priesthood that sustained the world in silence is removed, and the altar of intercession they upheld is carried into heaven before the throne of God. This moment marks a profound shift in the ages. For those who received her, the ascent is vindication and joy, the unveiling of the one who bore them as a true mother. But for those who rejected her, the departure is judgment. As Revelation testifies, her child was caught up unto God and to his throne, and the woman fled into the wilderness. Revelation 12, verses 5 to 6. The exaltation of the daughter and her children signals that tribulation now begins for those who refuse to recognize the mother. Without the hidden priesthood, without the fountain flowing in their midst, they are left to face the testing of Jacob's trouble, stripped of the covering they once despised. Ancient writings hint at this division. In the Midrash Rabbah, it is said that when the Shekinah departs from a place, calamity swiftly follows, for her presence was the shield of mercy. Likewise, the Targum on Isaiah 26 speaks of the righteous being hidden away while the indignation passes, while the unrepentant remain exposed. In this light, the ascension of the daughter with her children is not an abandonment of the world, but the removal of mercy from those who hardened their hearts. It is the lifting of the daily sacrifice, which Daniel foresaw as a sign of desolation. Daniel 8:11, 12:11. Once that sacrifice is removed from the earth, the fullness of tribulation unfolds. Therefore, the role of the daughter is both fountain and sacrifice, hidden priest and exalted queen. Her children of the exile share in this mystery, for as angels in flesh, they have borne witness in silence, and their lifting up is the unveiling of God's hidden work through them. Their removal signals not only their reward, but also the beginning of travail for those who would not bow to the spirit of the mother. The times of refreshing give way to the times of testing, and only those who humble themselves under her shelter in the wilderness will endure until the end. The mystery of the daughter ascending with her children of exile opens the way for us to see the other side of the vision, the Shekinah, the Supreme Mother, who goes into the wilderness with the children of the promise. The story of exile is not new, nor is it random. It has been written into the history of Israel from the beginning. The sages tell us in the Midrash Rabbah that when Israel went into exile, the Shekinah went with them. She did not remain enthroned in distant glory while her children suffered, but she clothed herself in their sorrow, entering into their dispersion. Lamentations. Rabbah says, "When they went into exile to Egypt, the Shekinah was with them. When they went into exile to Babylon, the Shekinah was with them. And when they will be redeemed, the Shekinah will be with them." This pattern reveals that exile is never endured alone. The mother shares the yoke with her children. The Targum on Isaiah 63 portrays the same truth. In all their afflictions, he was afflicted, and his word saved them. The rabbis understood this as the Shekinah entering into the pain of her children, bearing their exile within herself, so that their suffering would never be without divine presence. This is why, in Revelation 12, the woman is seen fleeing into the wilderness. She is not abandoning her children, but protecting them, nourishing them in hiddenness, just as she has done through every generation of dispersion. The exile of the Shekinah is the key to understanding the present age. For as long as her glory is veiled, her children also walk in obscurity. The daughter, hidden as the daily sacrifice, shares in this exile in flesh. The mother, veiled as the wilderness shelter, shares in it in spirit. Together, they preserve the line of the promise until the time of unveiling. Ancient writings even describe her departure from the temple before its destruction. The Midrash recounts that when the Babylonians advanced, the Shekinah lingered on the Mount of Olives, unwilling to leave her dwelling. She tarried step by step, as if reluctant to abandon her house. But finally she departed, following her children into captivity. This is the heart of the mother, never to forsake, even when her house lies in ruins. So when Revelation shows us the daughter ascending with her children of exile, and the mother fleeing into the wilderness with the children of promise, it is not a contradiction but a continuation of this ancient story. The Shekinah has always been with her children in exile, and she will again take her place among them in the wilderness of the tribulation, guarding those who cling to her. This is why the prophets speak of Jacob's trouble not as an endless affliction, but as birth pangs. Jeremiah 30 declares, "Alas, that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And the Midrash interprets this travail as the travail of the mother, laboring to bring forth her children into deliverance. For even in exile, even in wilderness, she does not abandon them, she births them anew. Revelation tells us of the woman clothed with the sun, who, after travail, is given wings to flee into the wilderness. Twice the vision is repeated, as though to fix it firmly in our hearts. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Revelation 12:6. Again, in verse 14, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent. This image cannot be separated from the first Exodus. When Israel left Egypt, it was not by their strength, but by the covering of divine wings. As the Lord declared in Exodus 19:4, I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. The wilderness was not abandonment, it was preservation. It was the place where manna descended, water flowed from the rock, and the covenant was sealed. The ancient texts echo this mystery. In Lamentations, Rabbah, the Shekinah is pictured as walking with her children into exile, mourning with them. She does not sit aloof in heaven, but travels the dusty road of captivity, her tears mingling with theirs. The Midrash says that when the temple was destroyed, the Shekinah cried out, Woe to the house, woe to my children, with them I go into their captivity. This is the very heart of the mother. She does not forsake, but follows, nourishing her children in every place of trial. The Targum to Isaiah 31:5 describes it beautifully. As birds flying, so shall the Lord of hosts protect Jerusalem. He shall protect and deliver. He shall pass over and preserve. The rabbis interpreted this as the Shekinah hovering as a bird over her nest, spreading wings of refuge. In Revelation's vision, this ancient promise is unveiled again. The mother is carried on eagle's wings into a prepared place, hidden from the serpent, yet ever close to her children. Thus, the wilderness becomes more than a place of hiding. It becomes a sanctuary. Just as Israel in the desert ate the hidden manna and drank from the spiritual rock, so the children of the promise are sustained by the presence of the mother in their tribulation. She nourishes them not with bread alone, but with her spirit, as wisdom says in the ancient writings, Come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine I have mingled. Proverbs 9:5. This refuge is also a mystery of time. The days are numbered, 1,263.5 years, the time of Jacob's trouble. Not forever, but for a measured season of trial. In those days, the wilderness is transformed into a tabernacle. The mother's wings overshadow her children, and though the dragon rages, he cannot devour. So the story comes full circle. As Israel was sheltered in the desert before the land of promise, so the faithful are sheltered in the wilderness before the kingdom. And in this hidden place, the Shekinah is revealed not in absence, but in nearness, mourning, protecting, nourishing, waiting for the moment when the wilderness gives way to Zion restored. From the beginning, the mystery of the Shekinah has been that she does not remain aloof in heaven, but goes into exile with her children. The Midrash Rabbah on Lamentations paints this picture. When the temple was destroyed, the Shekinah said, I will go with them into their captivity. Lamentations Rabbah, Proem 24. She chooses not to abandon her people, but to walk with them in their suffering, even veiling herself in flesh through the companions of exile, those angels clothed as men and women who carry hidden assignments. This is why the prophets speak of her as a fountain in the wilderness, a stream that flows even when the outward sanctuary is desolate. The scriptures repeatedly hint at this role. In Zechariah 13:1, it is written, In that day there shall be a fountain opened for the house of David and for the inhabitants of Jerusalem, for sin and uncleanness. That fountain is the daughter, the hidden daily sacrifice, who sanctifies the people in every generation. But Daniel foresaw a time when this continual cleansing would be taken away. In Daniel 8:11-12, the little horn exalts itself against the prince of the host and removes the daily sacrifice, casting truth to the ground. And Daniel 11:31 repeats the warning. Forces will profane the sanctuary and take away the continual offering. This removal marks a decisive shift, the breaking of covenant rhythm, and the onset of tribulation. What is this removal? Revelation unveils the mystery. In chapter 12, the woman clothed with the sun brings forth the male child, and the child is caught up to the throne. Yet the vision does not end there. The woman herself is given wings to escape, and her offspring become the target of the dragon's wrath. The ancient interpreters often saw in this image the Shekinah with her companions. The Peshitta of Revelation 12 emphasizes that the child is taken up swiftly, as if to mark a sudden transition. The Midrash on Song of Songs also speaks of the Shekinah as a mother with children, saying, "Where her children are, there she is." Song Rabbah 1-6. When she ascends, she does not go alone. She gathers her children of the exile, those angels hidden in flesh, to rise with her. This ascension is the moment Daniel foresaw, the daily offering removed from the earth, and for as long as she walked, hidden among her companions, her fountain of sanctification restrained the darkness. Her exile was their shelter, and their presence in the world held back the full manifestation of the dragon's fury. But when she and her children of exile are lifted up, the earth is left to those who rejected the mother. This is the turning point, the beginning of Jacob's trouble, the tribulation that comes not upon those gathered into her bosom, but upon the adopted children who refuse to recognize her. Ancient voices confirm this. The Targum on Lamentations 1:16 portrays the Shekinah lamenting, "For these things I weep, my eye flows with water, because the Comforter who should restore my soul is far from me. My children are desolate because the enemy has prevailed." The sages understood her exile as marked by tears, but also by hidden intercession. Those tears, in mystical memory, become rivers of mercy, sustaining the faithful. When she departs with her true children, those rivers are withdrawn from open sight, and the world feels the drought of sanctification. This is why Daniel 12:11 fixes the timeline from the moment the daily sacrifice is removed until the abomination is set up. The removal is not merely a ritual in a stone temple. It is the exaltation of the daughter with her children of exile. Their ascent is the dividing line between the age of restraint and the time of desolation. What the prophets long foresaw is unveiled. The Son enthroned at the right hand, the daughter ascending with her companions, and the world entering tribulation because the fountain, once flowing openly, is now concealed in heaven. So the role of the daughter is revealed in this mystery. She is the hidden daily sacrifice, sanctifying the people as long as she walks among them. Her children of exile, angels clothed in flesh, embody her companionship, sustaining the church even in its blindness. But their removal, their sudden ascent, signals the great shift into Jacob's trouble. For those who embraced her, this is salvation. For those who rejected her, it is the beginning of desolation. The ancient texts, the prophets, and the apostles together bear witness. She who wept in exile shall be exalted, and her children with her. And in that moment, the rhythm of heaven changes, and the final mysteries unfold. When the daughter ascends with her children of exile, the vision does not end. Revelation 12 shows us the woman herself, given the wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into the place prepared by God. This is the mystery of the mother, the supreme Shekinah, who remains with her children who have not yet recognized her. As Israel once wandered in the wilderness, nourished by manna and the well that followed them, so too the mother enters the wilderness to shelter the faithful remnant. In the Targum to Isaiah 63:9 we read, "In all their affliction he was afflicted, and the word of his Shekinah saved them." This wilderness refuge is not absence, but presence, hidden, her wings overshadow, Her tears water the dry ground. Her voice of intercession sustains those who remain. She goes into concealment, but her ministry continues, just as the well of Miriam followed Israel unseen until the camp drew near. Daniel foresaw this hidden refuge. In chapter 12:1 he declares, "At that time shall Michael arise, the great prince who has charge of your people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never has been since there was a nation till that time. But at that time your people shall be delivered, everyone whose name shall be found written in the book." The trouble begins, yet the promise of deliverance is woven into it. Michael does not stand alone. He stands with the mother, who has gone into the wilderness to shelter her offspring. Isaiah 26:20-21 adds the same hope. "Come, my people, enter your chambers and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourselves for a little while until the fury has passed by. For behold, the Lord is coming out from his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. Here is the hidden protection, the secret shelter, while wrath passes." Just as Noah was hidden in the ark while the flood covered the earth, just as Israel was sealed in their homes with blood upon the doorposts, so the faithful are covered under the wings of the mother, hidden until the appointed time. Ancient voices echo this same rhythm. The Midrash on Psalm 91, the Psalm of Refuge, says that the Shekinah spreads her wings like a bird covering her young. The Peshitta renders verse 4 with striking clarity. "With his truth he will overshadow you, and under his wings you will trust." This is the hope of the wilderness refuge, not escape from trial, but hidden nourishment within it, protection that is unseen, yet unbreakable. But this concealment is not forever. Daniel 12:2 continues, "Many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt." The same passage that speaks of trouble also speaks of resurrection. The hiding is for a time, but the unveiling comes at the appointed hour. Just as the daughter ascends with her companions, the mother shelters the remnant until the day the veil is lifted. And what is the unveiling? It is the marriage feast, when the bride made ready is presented in glory. Paul speaks in Ephesians 5:26 of Christ sanctifying the church by the washing of water with the word. The blood reconciles, the water sanctifies. Only when both have finished their work can the marriage be consummated. The Son gave himself once for all in blood. The daughter sustains daily in water, and together they prepare the bride to stand in white linen, pure and radiant. The prophets foresaw this union. Hosea 2:19-20 records God's promise. "I will betroth you to me forever. I will betroth you in righteousness and justice, in steadfast love and in mercy. I will betroth you in faithfulness, and you shall know the Lord." The Midrash links this to the days of redemption, when the Shekinah is no longer in exile, but restored to her place beside the king. Blood and water, atonement and sanctification, once veiled in exile, now revealed in full at the feast of the Lamb. Thus, the wilderness refuge is not the end, but the passageway. The hidden wings, the chambers of concealment, the intercession in exile, all are for the sake of endurance. The hope of deliverance rests not in human strength, but in the ministry of the mother and the triumph of the Son. Their union brings forth the bride purified. Their shared work brings forth a kingdom unshakable. When wrath has passed, when the appointed days are fulfilled, the fountain flows openly again, and the saints who endured stand unveiled in glory.